Kristen, got your work up. Very, very nice. I love it. And a couple comments. Let me get this in the window here. Here we go. About 25% looks like it's perfect. Whoops, didn't want to do that. Wanted to do that. Okay. Day of the Dead. All right, couple of things. I think that there's number one, we are required to use two of those typefaces. So if we go back to the week one, project poster begin, week one overview, right down here, it says right here, you have to use, you choose no more, but you do have to use two families, one from serif, one from sans serif. Now, I did say last week that I would allow you to use your own hand rendered type, but I still think to remain true to the project specs, we got to get that serif and that sans serif in here somewhere, maybe even as a date or something. I don't know, but we got to get that in there just to meet the project specs there. Okay. Let me talk about the poster itself. First of all, it's gorgeous. I mean, thank you very much for the effort, and it's just gorgeous. I know you have more work to do, but let me just describe what I see here. Okay, the Day of the Dead, I think this relationship here is too different. These are two different, dead and day. The typefaces themselves are just completely different. One's jagged and sharp, while the other's round and fluffy. One is completely different color. I mean, I just don't think there's a whole lot of connection between the word day and dead. I think this is a pretty playful relationship here of the, and I think dead does signify that kind of mystical kind of celebration without being morbid. And I think that's kind of what Day of Dead is all about, to me anyways. One of the things I'm seeing in the illustration itself is that this skull looks too happy. It looks like, and the smiley face, and yes, I know they do paint that smiley face, but nonetheless, the skull always looks sinister. It never looks like it's a big smiley happy skull. And this looks like a big smiley happy skull. And I think it's loaning an air of adolescence to the piece. I do. I really do. I think it's really just like a happy, like almost a childlike happy skull. And I don't think that's what you're going for. See the slices of the vertebrae? I would love to see you really key in on that. I think that was one of the most important, one of the most interesting parts of the sketch itself was those floating vertebrae. So I would love to see you push that idea a little bit further so that's more visible. As I was saying, this just looks too happy and smiley. Now, if we jump over here, just take a look at some of the Day of the Dead. Now, sure, some of them have smiley, almost a smiley looking, but none of these, they all look sinister. You have to admit, there's that kind of smile that you had, that kind of stitched mouth smile. But see how yours looks real jolly and happy, and this one still looks really sinister. So that's what I think you're missing in your illustration, is that kind of sinister. The last thing I would say is that your colors might be a little bit muted. And the one thing I really have to say is you've got too many effects going on here. Now, remember Hicks' law. As an illustrator, you know this. Every time you add something to a composition, you're taking away from what's already there. Okay, so you've got this kind of gradient over here, and then you got this frame here, and then you got this kind of ghosted type effect over here, and then you got the background, and you have this gradient down here, and this background. Too much. It's all too much, man. And then you have these like dimensional. Just step back, work on the illustration, and forget all the embellishments for now. Just work on form. Okay, every time you work on one of these other embellishments, you're adding other meaning and you're taking away from what you're trying to say. So subsequently, we end up looking like this jolly kind of adolescent skull. I hope that makes sense. I don't mean to sound discouraging at all. I really don't. But if you have any questions, comments, those would be my recommendations moving forward. If you have any questions or comments, I'll definitely be glad to clarify. But those would be my recommendations moving forward. Okay, great job. Thank you very much.